Ahoy there and good evening one and all to the Austrian round of GPVWC 2014 International Touring Car Championship. We're here at the Salzburg ring and I hope you've got all your smoked saucissons with you today because, quite frankly, it's going to be in for a real treat. My name's Simon Smith and as ever I'm dragging you kicking and screaming through the pixelated action of fun this evening. And alongside me doing cameras, almost like an extraordinaire, it is race director Dave Carsmith, juggling all the jobs. And let's hope he's got flexible hands. Qualifying was nice and tight, and as is the perk of the Salzburg ring, completely different to a lot of the circuits that we've been at already this year. This one involves long, sweeping straights with little kinks in the middle that you take fully flat out, ginormous hairpins at the end of either side. It reminds me very much of a hair clip, if that makes any sense. We're just racing around one of those. Lots of gradient too, and if you catch your R factor at the slightly wrong place, you can pretty much see the almost half, if not 3/4 of the track all at one go as well. But what it has meant is that slipstreaming and team play is key, and that's what we saw in qualification. I'll take you through the grid as we run ourselves round. There's no grid penalties here today, thankfully, because the two that are due to have one have decided to bow out. That doesn't mean that they escape it, it just means they'll get it next time. You can tweet with the hashtag GPVWC, and I will read out your comments as we go. I'd like to hear what everyone is thinking of and looking forward to here today. Long race track this one compared to previous. 11 laps for each of the 3 races. We've got about 2 minutes left until we get to the actual race itself. Adrian Holm currently leads the championship on 191 points ahead of Ruud Heesterbeek, Augustin Canapino, Toby Davis, Sven de Vries, Jesper Tauberg, Robert Weisenmuller, Eric Strane, Martin Palm and Lewis Redshaw rounds out your top 10. In the constructors it is THR just 13 points clear of Oddball Racing, then Araya Stream way back with less than half of those points in 3rd, Zurich in 4th, Enterprise GP 5th, Aurora Motorsport 6th, Toro Motorsport 7, CSG is 8, Bastvik is 9 and YTF 1 rounds out the top 10 there. 17 teams have scored so far. And amazingly, 33 drivers. So we are sharing the love here. I do like to share some love. Unfortunately, I didn't share much love with our new starter at work today. Simon did the biggest faux pas ever. And might as well tell everyone, because I'm so insistent on leaving anyway, because it's my 5-year anniversary there. Well, I was chatting to a different part of the organisation, and they're saying, oh, we've got someone starting new today. It'd be really, really good because they can pick up all of that work, blah, 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 blah. And so I just went, oh, that'd be quite handy, wouldn't it? And just continued on as normal, not realising everyone all being gasping and sniggering all around me, because when the lovely lady arrived, she only has one hand. And yes. And you know when you've said something and then you can't get it out of your head, and then you start saying things like, can I give you a hand with that? And then you know you shouldn't, but then you want to, and then it gets stuck in your head. And so she was talking to me and I was going so yes, don't put me in a disability clinic. I fear I may ruin everyone.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Yeah, everyone, naff off. Off the grid we go. We'll get the old gridaroo lined up. I think we could see a fair amount of smashing going on. I've just eaten a Rolo. Don't know if I deserved a round of applause by announcing that, but one of the few that you can still get 4 for £1 at. As we lead you around on the formation lap, then it is Eric Strane in pole position for YTF1. Great to see Eric continuing his recent form. Chris Hack second for Mazurek. That's the highest he's ever been. Adrian Holm is third for THR, and that's great considering he's got a 45 kilogram weight penalty. Fourth for Augustin Canapino, he's got 27 kilograms of a penalty. Fifth, James Kirk for triple 20. Once again, great in qualifying. Let's see if he can carry it forward to race pace. Jasper Tolberg is in sixth for Aurora, ahead of Bart de Vos in the second of the triple 20s. So good race there so far for that team. Ruud Heesterbeek in 8th with 36 kilograms of weight added for Vodball. 9th is Tobias Olsen, and he's new for Enterprise GP, so welcome Tobias. Lewis Redshaw rounds out the top 10 for CSG. Then Toby Davis 11th for THR with 18 kilograms of penalty weight, a little bit slower down than where he normally is. Rasmus Salo is in 12th for Bastvik, ahead of Cameron Brewster 13th for Playseat. Tom Parker 14th for CSG. Harley Hamnet 15th for Torrance Motorsports, ahead of Robert Weisenmüller in 16th for Stream Motorsport. 17th is Tom Jacobs for Sixth Axis Racing. 18th Mikhail Tumala for Enterprise, who's been doing so well in Super League of late. Matthew Williams is in 19th for the Sixth Axis Racing. Go co-commentator. 20th is Paul Watkins for TWR. Quite nicely done there. Matt Richards in 21st for Araya. Then Mike Bell 22nd for Aurora. Martin Palm 23rd for Torrent. Again, not showing up in qualifying. He'll have to do it all in the race again. David Junt 24th for Scuderia Basilia. 25 is Scott Sovic for Bastvik. 26 Ben Hackerson for YTF1. Menno Klont then 27 for Walters. Lewis McGlade 28 for Scuderia Basilia. 29 is Thomas Hinds making his debut for Cosmo, ahead of the Nijos of Simon Melhuish and Chris Williamson. Florian Engels 32nd for Walters, ahead of Philip Morby in Playseat 33rd. Gary Lennon 44th for Mazurek, far down from where he normally is. Dave Simmons making his return, I think, for Optimum in 35th. Tyrone 5th is 36th for TTF. Tom van der Voort for the second of the Cosmos, down in 37th, ahead of Jonathan Asselklin in 38th. And that is our last starter. 2 people missing, and those are the penalty duo, so bad times all round. The last couple start on the curve actually as Jonathan gets into place. Here come the lights then. Round 1 of the evening here at the Salzburg ring is about to get kicking off now. Let's see, lots of locking up as they get off the starting line. One of the Vodballs looks like he's got away very well. It's Canapino, and Chris Hack's already down to 4th position as they come steaming down this extremely long straight. Someone looks like they're off a little bit. Then it's a tight braking for turn 1. How's everyone going to get through? It's not looking too bad at the moment. The Heesterbeek gets a little bit of a wiggle on, and a couple of cars run a little bit wide, but surprisingly, although Tyrone Frith has now gone off, and James Kirk's off. Kirk, oh no! And he looks like he's lost his front bumper, as has Simmons and Frith. And they're the 3 casualties down at turn 1. What a shame there for Kirk. He just can't get anything to go his way. I'll just call him Felipe, baby. As we come steaming down, it's still Strane ahead of Tolberg, Hack, Canapino, De Vos, Heesterbeek, Olsen, Davis, Salo, Brewster. Holm has just got round Parker for 11th and 12th positions, but here comes a slipstreaming action, and Tolberg's having to go for Strane for the lead. Is he going to try and go around the outside? Brave man. That corner just goes and goes and goes. Canapino's managing it though, and Hack behind. The 3rd and 4th, he's last of the late breakers. Has he managed to cut in? Yes, he has. Canapino takes 3rd then from Hack. It looks like Tumala and Jacobs were bashing each other for 13th further down, and Jacobs comes off the worst off there. It's one of those corners where if you hit the actual outside curves, it's Paul Watkins has got a puncture in 29th. But if you just hit that outside gravel, you just go steaming off into the gravel of no return, so to speak. We have lost then Simon Melhuish and Lewis Redshaw from the opening lap. They have both retired. Engel, Kirk and Watkins will be pitting along with Weisenmüller, I believe, as well. So plenty of action in the pits, but up front it is Strane from Tolberg. Canapino and Hack, they're well clear now of Heasterbeek by 2 seconds. Davis up to 6th from 11th. Good start from him. Then DeVos. Olsen's got Salo all over the back and there's contact. Tobias is off on the grass. Can he recover it? No. Jack bound to 12th and 13th position as Bell goes through. Next up is Matthew Williams. Jacobs in the final points paying position. And the problem is with that is that you just lose so much momentum down these straights. As up front, looks like Hack having a go at Canapino, and Tolberg's through on Strane for the lead. You see, yes, he's got it this time. Exactly the same move as what he did the previous lap. This time, no, he didn't. Sorry. Strane does keep ahead. Just Tolberg, though, right alongside behind him. Then it's Canapino and Hack. Davis through on Heasterbeek, though, doing what Tolberg could not. And then behind, there's lots of lights flashing around 8th and 9th positions. It's Rasmus Salo who's got up into 8th. Parker's followed him through to 9, Holm to 10, Sumala then down to 11, then Bell, Williams, Olsen down to 14th, then Jacobs, Richards, Junt, Hackerson, Palm and Klont. Your top 20 with Gary Lennon right on behind. It's about as NASCAR as this is ever going to get. Come round to start lap 3 of 11. Here at the Salzburg ring, Hackerson and Junt for 17 and 18, getting it all crossed up into turn 1. That may well help Palm. Indeed it does. Palm goes round Hackerson for that position. And Tumala's lost out down to 15th position as Jacobs takes Olsen for 13th. Now Tumala being a little bit battered around there. No more retirements. Everyone's still running just about. Up front, Strane still leads the way from Tolberg and he's looking more comfortable this lap around. Hacken slow, having another look at Canapino and he's through. He's got it this time. Chris Hack up into 3rd then for Mazurik, ahead of the Vodball Racing of Augustin Canapino. Those brakes will be looking very second hand by the end of that race. Oh, and there's crash behind Bart de Vos, 9th position, into the barriers. Now was he hit from behind? Because that's a bizarre place to go off. We'll soon see. He's rejoined in 12th though, despite the heavy hit into the barrier. Can he hold off Jacobs? Yes, he can. And he's got the Enterprise GP duo of Olsen and Tumala. Matt Richards right there too, desperate to get into the points for Uriah Stream. Had some good comebacks through the field so far this season. Made very good on a reverse grid. Don't mind taking that earlier. Parker on Salo for 8th position. Who does it? He's up into 7th then. Next up will be Adrian Holm in the THR. Carrying so much extra weight. And that will hurt every single braking point. That's Matthew Williams on the grass in 10th. Will Mike Bell in 11th go round the outside for him and dive through? Ooh, yes he will. There's a little bit of leaning on each other. But he's through. Bell up into 10th. Williams sucks back into the slipstream in 11th. May have another go. So even are some of these cars. Hack keeps ahead of Canapino for 3rd and 4th. Davis 5th. Heasterbeek 6th. Parker and Salo at it again for 7 and 8, but Parker stays ahead. Holm is right there, waiting and willing to capitalise, and I think he's going to have a go at Salo. He goes through. He's gone through one. Is he going to try and go around the outside of the other? Oh, Parker a little bit wide, but covers the racing line beautifully as he straddles the middle of the circuit. That stops Adrian Holm getting through, and now Salo's all over him. Holm doesn't want to get pushed round by Rasmus. Make sure that he keeps nice and steady. Tolberg back within a second of Strane for the first time in a little while. Not quite close enough to have a stab yet. Lap 5 of 11 we're starting. What's that going on behind? It's Matthew Williams having a go at Mike Bell for 10 down into turn 1, and he's got him. Nice clean move there by Matthew Williams, and that will do very nicely. Tick the box. Bell now under attack from Jacobs. Then it's Olsen, DeVos and Tumala, and they're all fanning out as they're trying to find the best lines. Jacobs on Bell. Can he do it? A little bit of love nudge. He's got through there just about. Bell will try and have another go back through. DeVos with both Enterprises behind on the battle for the final points paying positions, and with Junt actually now up to 16th. Something must have happened to Matt Richards because he's down to 26th. He was 16th earlier on. Still just the 2 retirements so far. And is that contact? No, it's Holm getting past Parker for 7th position. That is very key for Holm with his championship lead. Sarlo desperately trying to go around the outside, but runs out of room there. And De Vos has just been done by both Enterprise drivers. Olsen and Sumala tag teaming up. And well, that's not the kind of tag teaming that you'd see on X-Tube, but it's just as effective because it has screwed Bart De Vos down to 15th position. Martin Palm in 16th has just got round Junt and Lennon, and that puts him just outside the points paying positions. Then behind is Tom Vandervoort up to 19th, so he's making good progress, although I bet he wouldn't want to be that far up there, as Jacobs has to retake Bell for 11th and 12th and keeps the position for now. Oh, Palm off the track, 16th position, bounces over the exit curb for turn 1. Lennon takes Junt at the same time and has a double effect there. So Gary Lennon just outside the points. Would not half love that. There's a free wide going off further back as well. Tom Vandervoort lost it at turn 1 and has dropped from 19th to 25th. So that's the commentator's curse, certainly sorting itself out. Up front though, Jesper Tolberg now under half a second behind Eric Strane. They're coming round to lap Florian Engel as well, who's in a very damaged looking Walters Automotive. Chris Hack clinging on, ballast free of course. That will do quite nicely. Parker has retaken 7th position there from Adrian Holm. That will do nicely. Sarlo a little bit further back, so that must be quite nice to see. Alright, looks like we've got about 18 drivers then battling over 15 points paying positions. Klomp and Brewster are battling a few seconds behind Palm at the moment. Again, Holm has a look at Parker. Nothing doing there. The Enterprise GPs are side by side. Don't take each other out, guys. Nope, Sumala's got ahead of Olsen and stays there again. As Florian Engel gets beautifully out of the way from Strane and Tolberg. But Tolberg does lose out slightly. He was just 3/10 behind as they cross the start-finish line on lap 7 of 11. I feel like I need to go into a truck stop. I have myself a quarter pounder. As they come down. Here we go again with Holm and Parker. What are they doing? That looks like Holm is about to go slipstreaming up through. Got the inside line. A corner that just never ends. It's like going around the outside of a spoon. Parker going to go for a dive for it through on the inside. Ooh, plenty of room given. Respectful driving between the pair. Holm keeps it for now. Sarlo lighting up his front tyres. There'll be no rubbers left on that to take home to the missus as they come across the line, but Sarlo very primed and tickled to have a go at Parker. Tolberg had a nice little look at Strane for the lead, but a little too far back to have a go, unlike Sarlo, who's Parker's boxed in there. Engel misses the thing entirely to get out of the way, and Parker's round. Oh no! What a shame for Parker. A nice spin turny round. Up goes Gary Lennon into 15th position. Parker rejoins in 16th because Palm and Junt have just had a massive going together, and that's dropped them off as well. So real issues there. Sarlo keeps his 8th position for now. Have a look at what's up front. Strane still bottle corking Jesper Tolberg, and what that's allowed to do is have Chris Hack on the attack. Up onto the back. The slack. Let's hope he doesn't give Tolberg a whack. There we go. I've had enough of that game now. Next! Humala's just got round Bell for 11th position, by the way, off your screens. The leaders continue to flollop around. Great action going on outside of the points as well, but up front Strane still leads the way. Jesper Tulberg second, Chris Hack third. All of them would ideally love to take a win. Tulberg's the highest up in the championship of these three. But his best so far is a third. Strane's best is a second. Hack's is a fifth. So all of them are potentially on for a best result ever, even if they just stay where they are. Matthew Williams retakes his teammate for 9th position. Off your screens there's a good little scrap as they're all kind of hitting each other. Here comes for the lead then. Tulberg, has he got it round the outside? He has. Beautifully done there by Tulberg. Will Strane be able to pull out and have a little go down at the tighter end of this? He's going for it. Side by side. Tulberg versus Strane. YTF1 versus Aurora. The Mazurek of Chris Hack waiting for the pieces to be picked up at the end. But Tulberg keeps it ahead as they come into the little shim-sham of the final chicane. And Tulberg gets it. That's taken a few goes for him to get that move done. Sizing up the opposition on each pass through. Beautifully done. What can Strane do? He's looking like he wants to have a go down the outside into one. There's contact between the two. He breaks later, but Tulberg has it. Strane keeps the car just about under control. Has a much better exit out from one though. And I think he's going to have Tulberg on the way down. He's on the outside of the corner, but I don't think that's going to matter too much. No, Tulberg's going to keep it in. Strane goes well wide to have a tighter exit from this banked curve. One of the features of the Salzburg ring is the banking round here. It's certainly playing into currently Strane's advantage as he's trying to get back through and retake that lead that he's held for the first 8 laps. Now we're on lap 10 of 11. And look at Chris Hack, he quite fancies a go too. 0.4 seconds back is Canapino, who's being slowly reeled in by Toby Davis. I don't think they'll meet each other if they have a clean run of things. And those 5 well clear of Heaster Beacon 6 with Holmes, Sarlo, Williams, Jacobs, Tumala, Bell, DeVos, Lennon and Palm your point scorers as the leading trio continue working themselves around. Tom Vandervalt's just crashed out of the race sadly for Cosmo. However, as we come on to the last lap, it is Tulberg versus Strane. Hack there dropped a little bit off on the back. Someone's only just getting into turn 1. It's Paul Watkins. I think he'll be well clear. They're not going to catch him. Strane, the opportunities left to go. We're going to be slowly counting down as we enter into the final lap of race 1 here at the Salzburg ring. Which one of these 3 are going to take their maiden win? Tulberg looking very under pressure there. Again, that banked curb. You can afford to attack in a way and get away with it. Down the main straight, this is where Strane's most likely opportunity will occur. Up onto the slipstream, he's pulling up alongside, his front wheel is behind. Alongside, and he's going to go for the outside, trying to do what Tulberg's been doing to him for the last 8 laps. Strane going around the outside, can he hold it on? Tulberg getting a little slide on that will push Strane out wide ever so slightly. Tulberg will have the inside, but Strane can go a little bit deeper. Can he? No, he can't. Side by side again. They've been doing this for about a kilometre now, but Tulberg keeps the advantage into the final chicane. Just keep it all on the track, and this could be Jesper Tulberg's main win. Strane's going for a tighter exit. It's not going to happen. Hack is right there too. The free fan out, but it's Jesper Tulberg that wins by 0.07 of a second. For Eric Strane, second for YTF1. Chris Hack third for Mazurek. 3 excellent drives by 3 best finishes so far for those 3 people this year. Canapino comes home 4. Davis 5. Heaster Beacon 6. Sarlo 7. Holm will be 8. Tick Vaxis Race will be delighted with 9 and 10 for Williams and Jacobs. Tumala 11 for Enterprise. Mike Bell 12 for Aurora. Bart DeVos 13th in the sole scoring triple 20 car. 14th Tobias Olsen on debut scoring there, well done. Gary Lennon grabs the final point for Mazurek in 15. Parker just outside the points for CSG after that unfortunate spin round. Then the 2 torrents of Martin Palm and Harley Hamnet. Palm, I don't think will be particularly pleased with that. Cameron Brewster in 19th, Menno Clont 20th, then Matt Richards 21st, Junt 22nd, just ahead of Asserklemp 23rd, Hackerson 24th, McGlade 25th, Thomas Hines 26th, Scott Sovic 27, Philip Morby 28, Tyrone Frith and Chris Williamson separated by just a tenth of a second as well, 29 and 30th, then Dave Simmons 31st, Robert Weisenmuller 32nd, Wiesenmuller, sorry. Paul Watkins 33rd, did beat home James Kirk by a second, then one lap down was Florian Engel, just the 3 retirements, and all of them crashes. Tom van der Vault with Lewis Redshaw and Simon Melhuish failing to get round lap 1. Well, that was high-octaned, high-speed action. All about making sure. Andrade, damn it, him again. I feel there may be rage going on there. All about the slipstreaming and making sure that when you do that move, it's at the right time. Very NASCAR, very Indy 500, but it works. So as ever, tweet in your comments, hashtag GPVWC if yes or fancy. How did everyone like the BTCC that went on? A little bit of rain never hurt anyone. Although, was it me, or did Alton Park look suspiciously more narrow than it really ever has been? Could barely get a mobility scooter down it. Why isn't there a mobility scooter mod for R-Factor? That well needs to happen. With a KERS boost as well, please. I know there's the infamous lemons for Le Mans. Or even just like pimped out snails. That would be well good. However, it was on QI, therefore I know it's real. Apparently, snails have been progressively going slower over time. They weren't as fast as what they used to be. Hollywood, here's hoping for more frontline battles in 2 and 3. Make it sound like we're playing Call of Duty. I'll be the medic. Kiss everyone betters. In fact, it wasn't a bad weekend of motor racing, to be fair, because Grand Prix was alright. You can normally rely on Montreal to throw up a good fest. That grin. Oh my god, that grin. All we need to do is cover Ricciardo's teeth in solar panels, and that is the entire national grid sorted forever. They just tickle his feet or something. I'm sure for the rest of humanity he wouldn't mind too much. as ever, for round 2, the format will be that we will start in the finishing order from race 1, which can only help certain factors. Apologies if you can hear random squeaking as well. I'm sitting in an utterly shattered office chair, which isn't very comfortable because there's a piece of metal going right up my left thunderthigh. And things like that. Like when I'm sitting on the train on the tube, I always try and get one of the end seats if you can actually sit down, which is a miracle in itself, because when I sit in the middle ones, it's like only fat people are drawn to me, and I'm fat enough as it is, so I'm trying desperately to like not encroach in everyone else's spaces by just like flolloping and all over my seats and everything. But no, someone else comes in, and then lo and behold, I have a broadsheet. I'm going to open it up. Hallelujah. I'm like, get your bingo wings out my chops. Especially on a hot and sweaty day as well. This is my first year commuting into London for a job. Hopefully my last for, well, on the run that I'm doing anyway. Oh my god. I'm so not looking forward to the massively hot days because it's just stupid hot at the moment in England. We don't do hot properly, we just do humid. And as fun as sweaty sigh is not. Don't forget as well, talking of sweaty Simon, GPVWC Day! When's that going to be announced? We've got a couple of places up for grabs where we will each try and pitch our own idea, but it's already been decided, so it's all a bit futile. But yes, get yourselves all excited and prepared for that. I should be joining everyone this time actually, so long as it doesn't end up on the last week of November, which I have said quite a lot. La la la! Yes, I shall be joining for that one. He says. Got to make some more folklore, and I will pop I'll do it after this race actually. I'll stick a forum thread on so that we can get a list of wonderful topics that I can discuss with everyone during the Le Mans 24-hour broadcast, where I will be doing the whole 24 hours. Yay! Simon has no life, but he loves it really. And I'm speaking about me in the third person, slightly strange, but it's yeah, I'd like to know what people actually want to talk about instead of just having me go off on tangents for hours on end, which can be fun, but could also utterly annoy, I'm sure. And also, because it's France, I believe there needs to be some French delicacies being eaten at the time. So if anyone wants to suggest some French delicacies to pop into Mons Mouthipouz, je suis désolé. Toby Davis just asking, do I have weight? No, you don't look like you do in your photos.
Attention, Joe, all non-essential personnel will leave the grid now.
I feel like I constantly parry penalty weight around every day. Perfectly movable, ballastable moves. So on the old penalty weights, 45 kilograms have now gone to Talberg, 36 to Strane, 27 to Hack, 18 to Canapino and 9 to Davis. So some spin arounds there in terms of what they were before. Just quickly run you through the grid. As ever with these free races, the day goes on, essentially. We're now at 1 PM. Shadows look a little bit better, a little bit more for me. That might just be trick of the eye, but it's Tallberg and Strane on row 1 ahead of Hack and Canapino, Davis, Heasterbeek, Sarlo, Holm, Williams and Jacobs rounding out your top 10 ahead of Tumala, Bell, DeVos and Olsen, Lennon and Parker, Palm and Hamnet, Brewster and Clont. Then it's Richards and Junt ahead of Asserclent and Hackerson, McGlade and Hines, or Hins, sorry. Yeah, I want to say baked beans, that's why I keep saying that. Savick and Morby, Frith and Williamson ahead of Simmons and White, Wiesenmuller. Then it's Watkins and Kirk, Engel and Vandervoort, Redshaw and Melouche. He's well off the back of the rest of the field actually. I don't know if he was a bit of a late starter, but he's caught up pretty much by now. At least it's dry for this one. I agree, Caravan Extraordinaire, just saying it would be really entertaining wet in that long corner. I do agree. Also, I think it would be really entertaining doing the slipstreaming in the wet as well, because I bet people still wouldn't back off sniffing everyone's anuses just ahead of them. What's cooking? Ah! Yep. You know it would happen. As they line up onto the old gridaroo. Holm lost a few points that time to Canapino and Heasterbeek, but not much. Davis clawed a few in as well. They'll be looking to keep Holm behind. That'll be the main championship interest. Elsewhere, interesting to see how Tallberg, Strane and Hack now do with a hefty amount of penalty weight. So, for the second time of asking this evening here at the Salzburg Ring for GPVWC ITC, we are racing! Arriba! Off and away we go, and that looks like... Ooh, someone's away much better than the other. It's Tallberg away much better than Strane, as he loses out quite a bit, and Tallberg's well clear of the rest of the field before they come down. It looks like Canapino may get into second if he goes down the outside. Indeed he does. Strane's through. That's someone off into the wall. It's one of the TSAs. It's Matthew Williams who then cuts the first corner because he's got nowhere to go. Harley Hamnet flies across the sausage curb, so that has really ruined him, and one of the DSGs who's in trouble there as well. But up front, and it was Ben Hackerson as well as the other person that I saw smash into someone and lose his front bumper. Up front it is Tallberg then leading from Canapino, Strane, Heasterbeek, Hack, Sarlo, Davis, Holm. He didn't lose or gain anything. Bell and Parker up to 10th position, so a good start from him. Then the two TSAs, DeVos, Olsen and Palm, your top 15 as they go weaving through the hills and then down. And it looks like Canapino is ready to attack Tallberg almost immediately here in the Vodball racing car. His teammate up to 4th, looking like he's under more attack from Hack than he is from attacking Strane ahead. As who's that through? Davis is through Sarlo for 6th and 7th positions. So Davis clearly not hanging about either for THR. He knows that if he can get more cars between himself and Holm, it starts to close back up that gap. He's had some cruel DNFs through disconnections, and they've typically happened in race 2 of the 3. So he'll be watching that with wonderment. Wiesenmuller's gone off in 28th as here comes Canapino and he's through. He's taken the lead. Yes, he has. Great stuff on the entry to 1. Tallberg, what's he going to do? Oh, one of the THRs is off. That's Davis. He's rejoined in 8th position. Tom Vandervoort has just crashed out and left the game. So Davis rejoins behind Holm. That's not going to help that championship battle for THR. So didn't see quite what happened there, but Canapino is in the lead, and is he going to be able to break the toe? I think he might do, because Tallberg has been practically pushed around by Strane. It's bump draft, but look at Heasterbeek. He quite fancies blocking Strane in, And indeed he's going to try and do so. No, Strane cuts across. He wants through on the pie as well. Everyone's wanting a piece of key lime as they go down. And the fact of it was that they was able to reach back in on Canapino. Strane down the inside of Tulberg. Can he manage it? No, he can't. And in the end of it, it's going to be Heasterbeek going through instead. Can he take one or two? Just the one. Strane up into third, then goes Heasterbeek. Hack there in fifth. Holm gets past Sarlo for 6th positions. Bell's past Jacobs for 10th and 11th. And DeVos is back past Palm for 14th and 15th. So that's all changed. Cameron Brewster's off the track and rejoined in 25th, just behind Scott Sovic. Everyone else still going as David Simmons and Thomas Hinds rejoin the track right in front of the leaders from their pit stop, sensibly, both staying well to the side and get out of the way, which is going to allow Heasterbeek to go for second. Is he? There's contact between himself and Tulberg, so busy beating each other. Strane and Hack go through, as does Holm. Heasterbeek rejoins in 6th position. That was a move that went horribly wrong for him. Someone speared off in the background as well there. I think it's one of the Cosmos there getting out of the way that was just coming out the pits. But that has gone horribly wrong there for Heasterbeek. We've just lost Mikhail Tumala, who's crashed out too for Enterprise, so that's not great for him either. Strane then in second position behind Canapino, but Hack is right there. He quite fancies a little bit. He's got less penalty weight, tune of 7 kilos, than Strane. Holm's got none at all. Look at the way he's just dancing around trying to see whether he should go down the inside here or a little bit later. Toby Davis going around Tulberg, takes 5th position away. We've got around Heasterbeek and all of that as well. Sarlo, Parker, Bell and Jacobs are all the way to 11th, and a massive squabble just behind that too. Then DeVos, Palm, Williams and Hamlet are battling their own little race. Clont, Lennon, Richards and Junt in a 4-way scrap through the chicane for 16th as well. So everyone's starting to form off into their little clumps of drivers. That could cause some issues. As the Hack having a look? No, he's not for second. He's got Holm and Davis right there. Tulberg stays ahead of Heasterbeek, but he bounces over the curb and loses it. Through goes Heasterbeek and Sarlo. Tulberg getting air. That's not something you necessarily want in a touring car. It's to go to the X Games to really score a medal in that one, and that's dropped him down. Is Parker going through as well? Yes, he is. Parker goes up to 8th. Tulberg then down to 9th. Rejoins just ahead of teammate Mike Bell. So it's an Aurora 9-10. But that's not what they wanted. There's Sarlo on Heasterbeek and Hack on Strane for second and third. Is Chris going to go for it? He's through before they even get round the kink. That is the overlap that he has. That could be crucial for Hack. Strane going to look at something. Holm nearly loses it there, and that's going to allow Davis through, is it? I think it is. Davis goes steaming through. Last of the late breakers, the pair of them there, but Holm, a bizarre little 4-wheel drift in the middle of that corner, just sticking out the rear and losing so much traction and speed. Palm there nearly hit round in 12th position by Matthew Williams, managed to scoop it up and keep the position. That was a good bit of 4-wheel drifting there by him. Junt takes Morby for 18th and 19th just off your screens as well. So all kicking off. The leaders are coming round to lap Tyrone Frith quite soon in the TTF, another walking wounded. As Strane under attack from Davis, who's squirming the car under brakes, then hits over the curb. Oh dear, through goes Strane, through goes Holm. Davis tries to get back on again. Clearly that sausage curb causing masses of issues for all concerned, as it looks as though Holm is going to get through. Yes, he is. He goes up into 3rd position past Strane. That really helping Adrian there quite nicely. Toby Davis then down to 5th position. There was more contact that went on further back. Gary Lennon now up into 15th position as a result of it. So that has not helped him at all. Sorry, no, it's helped him. Sorry, as there's a THRs both there doing the old bumpy drafty. And that is what it's like to have a team working in unison, as both Holm and now Davis go through past Eric Strane up into 4th and 3rd positions. Strane down to 5th. And he doesn't have a teammate there to back him up. Harley Hamnet drives around the outside of Matthew Williams, 13th position. That was a good move. Off your screenaroo. up front. 2 seconds then the gap between Canapino and Hack. There is a Tyrone Frith in between them. At least with all the straightaways though, there's plenty of time to get out of the way. Not that Tyrone's really managed to do it. There he's getting out of the way now. Poor Tyrone. Got caught at the wrong moment, but what that has done is utterly obliterate any lead that Chris Hack had. It was 0.8 of a second as they crossed the start-finish line. It's certainly not that now, as Holm, Davis and Strane clutch on. Easterbeek has got Sarlo vaguely for company, but they've pulled away from Parker and Co. Parker and Co were a company. I've got no idea what they would probably make. And it probably wouldn't be available for sale in your nearest food store, as Adrian Holmes having another look at Hack. And look at that, it's another one of this old bumpy drafty. And the pair of them past Chris Hack. Now, if Hack and Strane want to do anything, they're going to have to look at working together as a team, even though they aren't as a team. If they want to combat the THR duo, I'm not sure that they'll be able to. But with Canapino 2.7 up the road, what will Holm and Davis do now? Canapino have 18 kilograms of penalty weight. There's no one to be lapped now. They've got past all the lap drivers on lap 7 of 11. Gap 2.6. But what will the THRs do now that they're up into second and third? Will they continue to work together? Will they start working for themselves, knowing that there's championships in the offering? Oh, big problems going on. Tom Jacobs and Tom Parker both off the track in 8th and 9th positions. Parker lost out more time-wise. Jacobs nearly losing positions. But De Vos, who's now up to 10th, has got round. Oh, he's about to be passed actually by Mike Bell, who heavily leans on him. Retakes 10th in the Aurora. De Vos down to 11, then Palms 12, Hamnet 13, Williams 14, Gary Lennon and Matt Richards battling over 15 and 16 with Junt, Clont and Morby right there. Brewster's none too far behind either. And it's Olsen, Asserclinth with McGlade all over him, Watkins and Kirk, Melhuish. Redshaw's just got round Scott Sovic. Then Florian Engel has just passed Ben Hackerson for 30th and 31st positions, although they both look like they're going very slowly for no particular reason. Up front, now's the time where it needs to start happening. Several of these drivers, still just the 2 retirements of Tumala and Vandervoort. Holm keeping ahead of Davis, the gap now down to 2.2. Well, it's going to potentially end up being a last of the late breakers on the last of the laps potentially. Palm and Hamnet go absolutely nuts for each other, and Jacobs is going for 8th position on Tom Parker. Parker keeps it round the outside, gives him plenty of room, but a 4-wheel drift in the middle of that apex is not going to help him on the acceleration back out again, and that could well be Tom Jacobs' best opportunity to get past. Side by side they go. The Torrents have stopped going side by side behind, thankfully. All that allowing Rasmus Salo to pull 4 seconds away. And Heasterbeek's got round Strane for 5th and 6th positions. Going round the outside into this curve that Parker and Jacobs are coming into now. Parker does exactly what Heasterbeek did to Strane and just cuts him right off and says no thank you. That'd be my racing line, cheers. Bart de Vos looking very ragged behind. The gap between Canapino and Holm. Canapino runs out wide slightly from the final corner. That's not going to help him all the way down that long straight. Let's see what the gap is as they cross the line. It was 2.2 last time round. This time around it's 2 dead. So not quite the game that he wanted to see. Canapino's really got to go nuts on it now. Holm then 2nd. Davis is in 3rd. Hack 4. Heasterbeek 5. Strane 6. Salo 7. Parker 8. Jacobs 9. De Vos is in 10 with Palm all over him in 11. Next smidgy gap back to Hamnet 12. Williams 13. Bell down to 14. Matt Richards has got past Gary Lennon in the final points paying position. Then it's Junt and Clont Morby and Brewster, and is that Palm having a go at Bart de Vos, but Bart de Vos keeps it for 11th. Finishing off the order then, we have Weisenmuller 21st, Olsen 22nd, Watkins 23rd, Kirk 24, Asserclinth and Meluish going at it 25-26, then McGlade 27, about to be passed by Lewis Redshaw. Ooh, McGlade, he's off, 27th, 28th now. And that was just too harsh on the old turn-in and the brakes at the same time, and that car just going skiddy skids. He rejoins in 29th. Plenty of that rallycross action has been going on all evening. Holm under attack for Davis for second and third, taking a bit of a rallycross entry to the final chicane. And if anything, I think Toby Davis might fancy half a go down the end of this straight, such as the closeness that the two of them are. This will certainly test them. It's all gone a bit Mercedes-like in the garage. Will Davis pull out and have a go at the last moment? No, he will not. Adrian keeps it then, second position. That was a prime chance to have a go. And with only one more lap after this one, we're on lap 9 of 11. Everyone send a cheer to Parker. Oh no! Parker clearly knows it's lap 9 of 11 because he's just gone flying into the air and smashed it. Oh dear. Back down to 9th he goes, and that looks like he's going to be tasked by either side by the Torrents. The Torrents doing a formation overtake there. That's one for the scrapbook or a Facebook cover page, surely. Beautifully done there by Palm and Hamnet. And if they were not in different parts of the world entirely, I'm sure they'd be high-fiving. So Parker then down to 12th position. Won't be satisfied with that. Holm still defending Davis, but look at how close they've got to Canapino. Canapino's really lost out this lap. It was 1.7 as they crossed the line last time. It's going to be potentially under a second by the time they finish this off. Here's Canapino's tyres. Finally withering out with one to go then. I told you it was going to be a close last lap lunge that was going to be happening, and that's exactly what we are setting ourselves up for. 7/10 of a second then as we cross the line to start the final lap. Vodball, THR, Canapino, Holman, Davis. Who's going to be who by the time they cross the line? Hack, Easter Beacon, Strane are 3.7 seconds further back. And so I don't think they'll play any part in this little trio unless they'll take each other off. And it passes Palm for 10th position. But Davis a little bit of a lock-up on the exit of the corner, which will only go to help Adrian Holm. 6/10 the gap now. Is he going to be close enough to get into the slipstream? I say yes. Potato. Torrents are making a meal of overtakes further back, but down into the last couple of corners then. Has Canapino done enough? It's going to essentially come down to this braking zone that's coming up now. Will Holm feel that he's able to go for the inside? He's setting himself up for it. Can he go for the last of late breakers? No! Canapino closes the door. Holm locks up his fronts. There is a vague opportunity of having a go into this chicane, but I don't think he can do it. Can Canapino just cling on around these last couple of corners? Davis there trying to almost straight line it to get the best advantage, but no, Augustin Canapino bottle corks it up and takes the second win here for Vodball Racing. Great stuff by Canapino, holding off right to the very end. Quarter of a second back, and a valiant effort there by Adrian Holm. Third for Toby Davis. Both THRs on the podium. Fourth for Ruud Heasterbeek. Getting past Chris Hack at the last lap. That was good stuff there by Heasterbeek. Strane then down to 6th. Salo 7. Jacobs 8 ahead of Hamnet 9, who got round. Parker 10. Palm 11. Bart de Vos really lost out and ends up in 12th position. He was 9th coming into that final lap. Matthew Williams 13 more points, Mike Bell more points in 14. Gary Lennon gets the final one in 15th. Mello Clont just moves us out for Walters Automotive, and how Walters Automotive would dearly love some points. But 16th, that could set him up nicely for a reverse gridaroo. Then David Junt 17 for Basilia. The two place seats 18 and 19, Brewster ahead of Morby. Matt Richards ending up 20th despite being in the points with 2 to go. Paul Watkins 21st, Olsen 22nd, Kirk 23rd, Redshaw 24, Sovic 25, Melhuish 26 ahead of Asseklimp 27, McGlade 28, Hackerson 29 and Tallberg 30 with Engel 31st, Chris Williamson 32nd, Robert White, Wiesenmuller crashed out on the last lap but it's classified 33rd because Frith, Hinds and Simmons were all one lap down. Those were your final finishers, with just Tumala and Vandervoort crashing out and not being classified. Again, a very low attrition rate. Which surprises me, actually, around here. Now, I've just been warned by cameraman extraordinaire in waiting, Dave Carr-Smythe. We could be ready for chaos. Will that be a reverse grid? Will it be the weather? Ooh, it's looking a bit dark. Well, we'll see what happens with the Austrian smoked sausage circuit. We'll soon find out what the reverse grid will all be. Oh, it's still dry for the warm-up. Apparently there is a chance of rain. So Melvish, first lap was like driving on Euro Truck Sim online when you come around a bend to find a traffic jam. Chris Williamson saying, scanning your horn noise. I'm quite glad that horns aren't implemented in this mod. The amount of times that I get lapped. Get out the way! Sob sob, sob sob. So for the final time of asking this evening, we'll be going to the grid in a couple of minutes. Don't forget, if you like what you see, you can sign up over at gpvwc.com. There's plenty of stuff to get yourself in on the action for. Be that racing, team management, spectating, or you could just troll the forums. We don't mind some hangers-on. Penalty weights, 45 to Canapino, 36 to Holm, 27 to Davies, 18 to Heaterbeak and 9 to Hack. That will do nicely for those. Don't forget there's plenty of other things that will be going on SimRace TV over the next few weeks. Next week we have the Wonders that are Formula Challenge, Super Cup, and of course Super League. We'll be at the Silverstone circuit for the British Grand Prix on the 17th, 18th and 19th of June. Of course this Wednesday we're also at Silverstone for the World Sports Series, which actually I must catch up on. I've not had anything to do with that. I feel all left out. Sob sob. And then of course the Masters itself, the 24 Hours of Le Mans, currently scheduled in for the 21st of June. I'll get all my sleep in now. Eat some snails. I got something quite nice that was French out of Lidl the other day, actually. Well, a couple of weeks ago, sorry, but I only ate it a little bit yesterday. It was a weird cheesecake pie thing, but it was made with quark. Don't quite know what quark was. It did amuse me that I then spent the whole day going around going, quark! It was quite nice though, because it had like, I think it was cherries. It wasn't blueberries, but I thought it was blueberries until I started eating it. I was like, no, I think it's cherries. And then you put on your own little bit of brown sugar on top, and you stuck it in the oven for 10 minutes, and it kind of rose into like this little weird cheesy dessert thing. I'm not selling it very well, but it was very nice. And I can see the empty box from here because I had no idea how on earth you call it. Let's see. Can I reach it? Yes, I can. It's called a Flammkuchen from the Alsace region with quark, blueberries, and brown sugar. Oh, there you go. It was blueberries. Very nice. I'll pop a picture of it on Instagram later. Anyway, 3, 2, 1. The end of warm-up is here. Everyone breathes a sigh of relief.
Attention, grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
And it's dry. After all that build-up. I'm disappointed too, Dave Cosmith. Restart the session. I want massive thunder and lightning and a tsunami coming down the straight and... at least something to denumb my bum from this broken chair. I'll do a Kickstarter from a new chair fund. So Menno Clont it is that gets the reverse grid pole, so it must have been number 16. So well done, Walters Automotive on pole position then for Clont. Gary Lennon second for Mazurek, third Mike Bell, Aurora, 4 Matthew Williams for 6th Axis. 5th, Bart de Vos ahead of Martin Palm, Tom Parker and Harley Hamnet, with Tom Jacobs and Rasmus Salo rounding out your top 10. There's a few people in that top 10 that I think could very nicely come out on top. Then it's Strane in 11, and he could be one to watch to be fair. Chris Hack 12. First one with penalty weight, then he's to beat 13, Davis 14, Holm 15 and Canapino 16. Then it's As You Were from the finishing, from Junt, Brewster, Morby and Richards, rounding out the top 20. Ahead of Watkins, Olsen, Kirk, Redshaw, Sovic, Melhuish, Asserclint, McGlade, Hackerson and Tallberg, your top 30. Why is Tallberg all the way down there? Oh, we must have... yeah. Don't mind me. I was having a thick moment. Then it's Engel, Williamson, Frith, Hins, Simmons, Tumala, which means Tom van der Voort did not rejoin and therefore is missing for Cosmo for round 3. Sadly no one's told Joshua Anderson, who's still hanging around. He should have got into the car and given it a whirl at the back of the grid. It's interesting to see actually, even on the old TeamSpeak channels, certain teams like the Aurora team have tons of people in there. YTF1 have a couple in there as well. Optimum, Triple 20 and THR, they're all clearly working together in teams. And then you've got poor like Gary Lennon and Tobias Olsen all on their own in their own little TeamSpeak channels, waving the flag like a real, like San Marino in the Eurovision. They're there and it's all very nice for cuddles, but really, would you? So here come the lights then for the final time this evening at the amazing Salzburg ring. The Austrian round for ITC is go! Off and away it goes Klont, and I don't think that's quite the start that he wanted. As through goes a few of the others to take the lead, and it's Mike Bell into the lead then from Lennon and Palm and Co. Klont, they're already down to about 12th position by the time we get down to turn 1. There's contact, Palmer's taken DeVos off, Williams is up in the air, as is Canapino, who's pushed off Klont. Asserclinth has completely missed the entire thing in... oh, that might have been lag actually, but everyone does appear to have got through, which is the first time that's happened down at turn 1 into turn 2, and it still is looking surprisingly alright. But it's Mike Bell that leads the way for Aurora ahead of Gary Lennon. Tom Parker up to 3rd, ahead of Palm, DeVos, Sarlo, Jacobs, Hamnet, Williams, Klont down to 10th. What a torrid start the Walters Automotive car has had. And will he cling on for points there? Who knows? Palm on Parker for 3rd position though, and he's going to have him. Potentially, Parker's trying to keep down on the inside, but Palm cuts across and says no, thank you very much, and Hamnet's off on the grass. He's 8th position, can he recover it? Oh no, he's clinging around on the gravel, and that is the best save I've seen out of that gravel chap so far. Rejoins in 9th, just about cuts up Klont enough to keep the position, then behind it is all gung-ho. The THR's 17th then is Holm. He's lost out. Davis is up to 12th, so that's working out nicely for him. As who's that off the track? It's Ben Hackerson, completely missing the final chicane and rejoins in 25th, losing several positions in the process. Oh, Jonathan Asserclinth has crashed out down at the big corner and is out of the race. But Bell and Lennon well clear from Palm. Parker is then holding up Sarlo, DeVos, Jacobs and Williams, and that's someone else. It's Klont again. Oh, Menno. This is just not your day. From pole position, you're now down in 13th place. Hamnet really lost out in that too. Strane then up into 11th. That's pushed Davis up to 10th. And Canapino up to 9th. So it's all swapping around and they're falling over themselves, really. And giving other people great advantage. Chris Hack has dropped to last position as well in the Zurich. So that's pretty much ended his go. As here comes Lennon on Bell for the lead. Zurich versus Aurora, one at the back, one could very well be at the front as they bookend the field. Lennon's got the inside. Did he just touch the grass there and have to back out of it slightly? It looked like it in my camera angle, but it's a bit skew-whiffy as Bell leads the way then for Aurora. We've often talked about Mike Bell and how he's slowly but surely become more competent and adult in his sim racing as things have gone along, as Richards pushes Sovic off onto the grass nearly. But now it's going to be really about how much of the pressure he can soak up from Gary Lennon, who we've seen in previous races is not afraid of bullying and pushing people right up to the very edge of the curbs, if not beyond. But he's not needed to. Blasting through under the slipstream, down into turn 1, yoinks the lead before they even get there. Great stuff there by Lennon, sized that one up beautifully. Palm down to second then. Palm down to Bell down to second, Palm third, then Parker and Sarlo. DeVos, and that's someone spinning right off the track. Oh, it's Engel. Florian Engel has had a massive crash as Ruud Heesterbeek has disconnected. Oh no, Ruud Heesterbeek has disconnected. That's going to have ramifications for the championship potentially. What an absolute shame. But yeah, Engel and Olsen there have collected each other. So that was what the massive crash down at turn 1 was. Both have got going again, albeit slightly limpily. But it's Lennon up front then. Almost a second clear there from Bell, such as the problems they've had. Parker on Palm. He goes round the outside to take 3rd position and does what Palm done to him the previous lap. That's all great stuff for Sarlo, who's just wanting a little bit more action. Parker would probably ideally not want to be near Sarlo after what happened in race 1. But with Heesterbeek out, He was right up in the standing second place before this round kicked off, and that is not going to help him at all, especially when it's Canapino grabbing the win in round 2. Has Salo got round Palm? No, Salo is ahead of Palm. Palm now down to 5th position. And that happened down at the chicane, so problems there for Palm. Salo to 4, then it's DeVos. Jacobs has got Williams, Canapino, and is that Parker off a little bit? Yes, it is. Once again, that sausage curve down at turn 1, proving his undoing. Through goes Salo, through goes Palm. Is DeVos going to go for it too? No, he can't. The 2 TSAs are just behind. Then it's Canapino, Strane, Hamnet. Toby Davis, interestingly, has now fallen back to 12th. He was in 10th at one point, so it's not working out for him. Holm has recovered up to 14th position. So if Davis wanted to claw in more points than his teammate, he needs to get a few more positions further up the field to do that. Ben Hackerson has retired from a crash for the YTF1 team, so that's the end of his day. He with the honourable hairdo fringe variety. 2 TSAs go at it for 7th and 8th positions. Strane, has he got round Canapino? Yes, he has. Strane's up to 9, Canapino down to 10, and look at Hamnet, he's going to go for it. 10 versus 11, no. Canapino closes the door and says, I don't think so, mate. Not with your lag. Klopp and Holm there nearly side by side for 13th and 14th. But really, as the leading sextet go across the line, all in relatively formation fashion, really DeVos closest to Palm. He's not having a go. Behind, it's 3 wide with Williams, Strane and Jacobs. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? It is Matthew Williams who gets it, but Strane gets round Jacobs in the process, splitting the Six Axis Racing drivers. So the YTF1 driver up to 8th. Canapino still down in 10. Clont still holding off Holm, with Tolberg, who started 30th, now up to 15th. As Adrian goes quite wide there into turn 2. It's surprising actually how little of a headway some of these drivers are making. Strane has a look at Williams for 7th. Got no penalty weight as the YTF1 driver. Barry Lennon 1.5 seconds clear of Bell now as Jacobs runs out wide. That could allow Canapino to have half a go. He goes very defensive. Can Canapino go round the outside? Nope. That corner just too banked to really do tons about it. And he's got to watch out for Hamnet because Hamnet's none too far back as well. And with Davis just waiting for it all to fall flat as Holm gets past Clont into the final chicane for 13th. And that's key for him because that will now allow him to claw up onto the back of Davis. Let's look at Williams and Strane as they try to fan themselves out. Break the toe if you can, but I don't think Strane cares. He's going for it. Williams is doing a do or die into turn 1, and that was only going to end in them clashing in the middle. Williams there not quite knowing when enough was enough. Doing a smithy in some regards, but Canapino's the one that's going to win out because Strane drops down to 10. Canapino gets round, as does Jacobs round the outside. He'll take his teammate. Strane trying to get back up the inside. There's not room for 3 wide out of that in normal circumstances. Lewis McGlade has just crashed off, unfortunately, as has David Junt, and they've dropped back several positions. But look at this quartet. Set as I go around. Scott Sovic has just pulled off, and look at it. Williams, Jacobs, Strane, Canapino, Hamnet and Davis. This could be messy, and it's Canapino on the grass breaking there, and that lets Hamnet through. How Canapino kept that one scooped up, I've no idea. Williams keeps the bottle cork on, but can Strane or Jacobs really break it through as Simon Mellerish crashes out from 17th position? And that's the end of him. Kirk has just retired, as has Paul Watkins, so it's all kicking off behind these guys. But Strane and Jacobs side by side. Jacobs would dearly love to have that position back. Strane is not saying never. Salo has just passed Mike Bell for 2nd position into the chicane and has now got the Bastvik car into 2nd, and he's faster than Lennon, so that's going to be an interesting one for the lead as this goes 3-4 wide as they come down to 1, and it's Davis versus Hamnet. Davis goes through, there's a bit of contact. He goes out onto the curb. Hamnet will get the better of it. And look at Adrian Holm. Holm's going to have him. He's past Canapino. Canapino goes down to 13th. The reason why I'm so focused on this is these are the championship leaders. And that is why it's so important. As Salo gets the gap down to the lead to under a second, that will keep Lennon very much occupied up the front. In fact, it's really 16 drivers looking at the battle for position. For some reason, Melhuish is now showing as actually running again, even though it said that he'd required with suspension failure. But there we go. In Paul Watkins or James Kirk. As here comes Strane on Williams for 7th position. Ooh, locky, uppy, uppy, uppy. And yep, Williams changing his line on the braking. Someone tell Sergio Perez what happens when that can happen. There. Williams could very well Perez it. Strane could well be a Felipe as Holmes got round Davis for 11th and 12th. That's interesting to note. And they're both ahead of Canapino. Redshaw passes Clont for 14th and 15th as they're clawing onto the back of this squabble. Barlow, though, unable to shake off Mike Bell, has dropped to 1.2 behind Lennon, so his initial pace not really working out for him. Strane goes around the outside for Williams, who does another one of his late brakings, but he's gone up on the sausage curb, and that's 2 curbs that he's hopped over. Through goes Strane, through goes Jacobs. Can Hamnet follow through too? Yes, he does. And will the THRs go for it? One's going one way, one's going the other. There's contact. Oh dear, Davis nearly loses it under braking from the little tap on the front of his car. Holm going around the outside of Williams, and he's lost all those positions in one fell swoop. Holm up to 10. Williams not done yet, but that has broken that little scrap up slightly. Tulberg then has got round Clont. Redshaw has dropped behind them in all of that. And look at that, 3 wide, Davis, Holm, Jay and Williams. Ooh. Holm backs out of it. He knows he's got championship advantage and can just sit and go, do you know what, I'll lose a couple of points this one instead of losing my all my wheels. As up front, that's Hamnet and Strane going at it. Hamnet really leaning on Strane through that bent curve. So careful of what constitutes leaning and what constitutes just bashing someone out of the way. Up front, 1.1 the gap between Lennon and Salo. It seems to be relatively static. Parker under attack from Palm there for the first time in a while, but that's because Bart de Vos has clawed onto the back of him. Then it's this Jacobs, Hamnet, Strane, Davis, Williams and Holm and Canapino battle. Hulberg, Redshaw's just past Clont. Oh dear, Menno. Love to have seen Walters in the points as here comes Canapino having a go at Holm for 10th. Oh, sorry, 12th. He got it. No, he has not. Holm keeps it for the time being. Up front, Salo's taken 2 temps off of Lennon, but Lennon seems to be stronger in that final sector, which must help. But Bart de Vos having a look at Martin Palm for 5 and 6. Is he going to pull out and have a go? Try and box Palm in behind Parker? No. Not quite got the gall to give it a go. Bart de Vos would love some solid finishes. He's had terrible luck so far as Hamnet has a go at Strane for 8th position and takes him. That's much cleaner than what it was last time, but look at Toby Davis immediately onto the back of these two in that THR, and Canapino's just past Holm for 12th, coming out of that long right hander. All this allowing Tulberg and Redshaw to join onto the back. Clonk just hoping one of them will crash out so he can get back into the points. 30 drivers still running. And with 2 to go, they've got the potential, these leaders, of catching Chris Williamson right on the last lap as Salo has his first look at Gary Lennon. Going for a much tighter line is Lennon. Will that pay him dividends on the exit? I'm not entirely sure. We've got a big long old straight coming up now. Mike Bell none too far behind either. What can Rasmus Salo do? Neither Lennon nor Salo nor Bell have won. There'll be another throw out on the podium, but is Salo going to push his way through around the outside? Indeed he does. Beautifully manoeuvred there by Rasmus Salo. Takes the lead from Gary Lennon, who just seemed to be sucked up on that lap. He had a second's advantage and it just suddenly went after several laps of defending hard and keeping that gap exactly the same. Salo runs a little bit wide on the exit. Keeps it nice and tight for the chicane. Lennon and Bell, Zurich and Aurora, very similar liveries but different teams entirely. Really battling with Salo. Williams just up ahead, waiting to be lapped. Look at Parker reeling them in. 1.9 down, now 1.2 down. Been 7 attempts in that sector alone. It'll be a tall ask for him to get all of them done. Here comes Lennon now, having a go at Salo. This could be a last minute late lunge. Salo brakes and turns in. Chops off Lennon quite decisively and says, I don't think you will, my chumley. And that's worked out lovely for Salo for the time being. All Bell on Parker. Minor contact between the two as Tom Parker tries to get onto the podium. Gary Lennon, however, really fancying a tussle with Salo. And there you can see Salo effectively has let him go wide, and I think if he's wondering if he can just cut straight back in again and then have a second bite of slipstream further round this straight, because it's going to come down to this braking zone. We're on the last lap. Who's it going to be? Salo trying to do exactly what he done last time, but he's less further along, so he's going to have to be more braver on the brakes as they come round to the last couple of corners. Can Salo hold on round the outside? No, he's going to try and tuck back in and go for the inside, and he can't do it. Parker's doing the same on Mike Bell, just behind, but Bell covers off that one. And Gary Lennon, by taking it early on that straight and then defending into the last couple of corners, may well have pulled off the great strategic move there. Indeed he has. The Zurich racing driver comes across the line and Gary Lennon takes round 3, the victory here at Salzburg Ring GPVWC 2014. Salo second, Bell third, Parker 4, all 3 of them new to the podium I think, and they'll all be very delighted. Parker just misses out in 4th. Then it's Park de Vos grabs 5th, passing Martin Palm on the last lap. Thomas Jacobs is 7, then Strane 8, Davis 9, Hamnet 10, Canapino 11, Tallberg 12, Williams 13. Holm gets 14th, so loses some points to Canapino and Davis. Lewis Redshaw grabs the final point in 15th, ahead of Chris Hack, who, despite dropping down to last, back up to 16th by the end. Menno Clont, no points there for Walters, what a shame. Then Simon Melowish 18th, Mikhail Tumala 19, McGlade 20th. Then Hinds 21st, I think that's his best finish of the evening. Olsen 22nd again. David Simmons 23rd, that's his best finish so far. Tyrone Frith 24 for TTF. The 2 place hits of Brewster and Morby didn't figure today, they were 25 and 26. Although it must be pointed out that Frith and Brewster were just 4 hundredths apart as they crossed the line. Florian Engel in the other Walters Automotive 27th after a big off in turn 1. David Junt 28th has got no front end of his car, but he has crossed the line in 28th. Chris Williamson's in the gravel at the moment in 29th. He just needs to get it across the line and beat home Matt Richards, who's still going round actually. I think he's being pushed round by Tom Jacobs, to be fair. May have run out of fuel or something. The last car across the line, and he will be unlapped actually. 31st then is James Kirk. He crashed out on lap 6, as did Scott Savick disconnected, Paul Watkins disconnected lap 5, Ben Hackerson crashed out lap 3, Ruud Heesterbeek disconnected lap 3 as well. That's the big shock retirement here. Asa Klimpf was in the barriers on the opening lap, just waiting for Matt Richards to be pushed around over the line. It looks like he's got it. I saw him parked up actually just after the finish line, but it looks like he's been given a little bit of help from his friends. Be able to do it. Nice little formation-y finish there from the guys. Well, that certainly made up for it. That's a good point, a good stat to say there. Every podium had 3 different drivers on, so 9 drivers on the podium. And I think that is the first time that we've ever had that in ITC. That's the kind of stat that I would remember. So clearly not ever happening. We'll wait for some of the guys to pop into the old booth-a-roo. Get going, but that, I think, can only really claw in some of the championship advantage that Adrian Holm had. He lost out to Davis and Canapino in 2 of those races. Sadly, though, the nearest rival, Ruud Heesterbeek, failing to finish in round 3, may negate a lot of that. So actually, overall, in terms of winning, points-wise, I think Holm's lead will have slightly extended, despite finishing behind everyone. Logics. So I'll kick off with the interviews whilst we've got a certain Eric in the room. Let's start off with you, Eric, because that was again another fine performance from yourself in all 3 races, and some real feisty overtaking moves and defending from yourself.
Yeah, that was fun. Was expecting a complete carnage, but that's not quite what we got. Not as bad as I was expecting. I hope, at least.
No, it was nice and clean, and you was putting on some good moves yourself, but sadly not quite the win.
No, I'm getting a bit sick having Jesper in front of me now, but no, not quite. I was just so slow down the straights. I don't know what else I could do to the car to make it faster. It just would not go. I mean, coming up in the last lap there, I had a massive run on him, and I just pulled out, and I just stopped, and he kept going, and then I couldn't go around the outside, so... Oh well, it was close, but not quite close enough, I guess.
The Rasmus Salo made it a fucking interesting finish. He took the lead from me, the bugger.
That's lovely. We're just interviewing some other people at the moment, Lennon, so if you could just shush it for a second, that would be lovely. Yeah, so Eric, it was another grand one, and that will push you up on the actual standings itself. So you came into this one in 8th. You certainly outscored Wiesenmuller, and I believe over the course of the event you outscored Tolberg and De Vries you'll have got past as well. So that puts you, I think, 5th overall in the standings. Not bad for an evening's work.
No, I don't like the weight, but oh well, that's what you get for being consistent, I guess. Oh well.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Eric. And take care and enjoy. Now you can go for it, Gary. We'd already started. So, your first win. Congratulations.
It is indeed. I'm sorry, Simon. I never realised I got dragged to this channel.
Ah, okay.
And I had a mouthful of chip as well, so
well,
I'm good to go now. First win in GPVWC. Very nice.
So, and that was a decisive move at the end there, because where I see you was battling with Salo, you'd taken him, and I was initially thinking, I wonder if you've gone a bit too soon, because he tried to tuck back in and do the move that he'd done before, but clearly you was wise to it.
Yeah, I just had enough legs in the wee Astra to keep it into the big sweeper, and I knew I had the strength on him in the final 3 turns, so. But he made it a very interesting last couple of laps.
But it shows the progress of Missouri in general, because when you initially came in, you was battling around with the top 10s and stuff like that, and I know that this was a reverse grid win, but clearly the pace was there throughout all of the rounds, so that must mean that you take heart looking at future events, thinking, yeah, I can actually be in the top 10 and battle genuinely for these kind of results.
Yeah, well, it was actually a setup I got from Chris at the start that helped quite a lot for this event, because I was going to chalk this up as a bogey round, because I've never been a friend of this track. But yeah, pulled it through. Very nice.
Woohoo! Great stuff. Well, I think that deserves some celebratory chips.
Yep.
And maybe even a beer to go with it, I think. Well done, Gary.
Thank you.
Let's move on to Chris, actually, whilst we go from one Mazurek to another. And, well, that was a bit of a topsy-turvy evening for you, because you went... There was at one point where we had a Mazurek in first and last, which I don't think was part of the plan. But in all of the races, you showed great pace, and great to be up there battling away for the wins.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't part of the plan, but it made it quite fun, I have to say. I think 35th to 16th was an excursion. Yeah, quite that. It was interesting. It was good.
But you was one of the people that was able to make some of the most definitive overtaking moves that was going on around the Salzburg ring. So was there a particular knack that you found to the track of where you thought, right, this is where I'm going to do it? Or was it just, I'll take the opportunities as they arise?
I just seemed to be getting a good run out of the first chicane, which then was the slipstream for the long straight, and that was pretty much it. There was no... I almost made a mistake of passing someone going onto the straight, and then thought, not worth it, and it wouldn't have been, so... There wasn't really a knack. Just got lucky with quite a lot of people crashing, I think.
A knack with the hack. Now, what that does mean, though, is that coming into this round, yourself and Gary were separated by just a measly 2 points. And I'm not entirely sure where that will leave you, but I can't see it being that much difference. So, how is team rivalry down at Missouri?
There's no rivalry, apart from, Gary's Scottish. You don't want to be beaten by a Scotsman. But I love him, no. It's good.
All the hugs. Well, congratulations and well done for what was your first podium of the season, because up until then your best result was a 5th. And let's see how many more of you will be racking up.
Cheers. And
then last but not least, we have Mr. Mike Bell himself, who... Hello. Now, you've had a 3rd before, but when I'm looking across all of your results, you've only had one other top 10 during the season so far. So it must be nice, actually, that after a few real difficult rounds that you've got back on top of things again and we're genuinely up there battling for the top 3.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I was on a 7-race no point scoring streak up until this event, and when I qualified way back in 24, I was thinking, oh no, this isn't going to go well. Found a gap in the start, got up quite high and just scored some consistent points all evening, and had a bit of an incident in race 2 that knocked me back to 14th, and that gave me a good reverse grid draw, and just tried to run away at the start, but it doesn't work if you don't have a slipstreaming buddy.
So what has it been that's been causing a points drought for yourself? Because we've seen over the course of the last year or so that you've really developed as a driver and become much more consistent and reliable, but it's just not translated so far this season for ITC. What's been the struggles, and where are you looking to focus on improvements in the future?
I think the struggles are possibly that I'm not putting enough time into ITC, and I'm putting a bit more into WSS and into Super Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So that could obviously be improved, but then again, you only have a limited amount of time. So that could be improved. And also, just the tracks, I've not really gelled with many of them. And the ones I have gelled in and had pace, I've gotten a little bit of trouble, so I lose some points that way, which is unfortunate, but it's my own fault.
Well, at least with today, I believe that was nearly added on half your points again on top of what you already had, so that can't be bad at all. And congratulations and well done.
Thank you.
Whoop, whoop. Well, with all of that love, hugs and kisses, I think it's about time we wrapped up this party. Thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast here on SimRace TV. Thank you very much to Dave Carr-Smith, who is race director and cameraman extraordinaire. And we will look forward to seeing you for WSS on Wednesday at Silverstone. Then the following week, we have Formula Challenge on the Tuesday, Super Cup on the Wednesday, and Super League on the Thursday, again at Silverstone. So we'll be having all of the Britishness here. Do you think we should do an on-air barbecue or something like that? It'd be proper British. I'll get drunk on a tinny. It'll all be fine. And all of a sudden there'll be sirens of fire engines and so on and so forth. However, ITC will be back in 2 weeks' time, and we will be in Britain, but we ain't at Silverstone. We're off to Rockingham for the Motor Speedway there. I look forward to seeing you all there. You lot take care and enjoy this wonderful weather whilst it lasts, because it's Britain and you know it won't. Bye for now.